from the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And good evening, and welcome to the Open Mic Show. Bill Macek, along with Bill Ellis, for the next couple of hours here, doing the big show, right?
Billy, it's cold outside.
It's cold. It's cold.
What was that
it's
song?
Even cold in here.
Was that though? If you wanted me to stay here tonight, because you'd say, Billy, it's cold outside, would that be sexual harassment?
No,
like
baby,
that,
it's cold outside.
Well, I'd be Billy though. I mean, you wouldn't call me baby if you did.
Yeah,
I'd be a little concerned. But
don't worry.
Yeah, but it is freezing out.
Yeah,
and it's minus 80 with the wind chill on Mount Washington.
Minus 80.
So I don't think we should head up there tonight.
Yeah, no, we won't be staying at Mount Washington tonight.
No.
Yeah, it's cold out though. I mean, I was out shoveling. And the wind, and, you know, I had my coat on and everything, but my ears and my head were like, whoa.
Well, you know, we think it's cold. I was mentioned to you earlier. There's a place called Oymyakon. It's the coldest inhabited place on the earth. And this past week, they're like 62 below. 62. That was the average, 62 below. Billy, that's cold.
You can't even breathe when it gets that cold.
No, everybody spends indoors. And I was reading an article.
Where is that?
It's in Russia.
I
shouldn't be talking about that now. All of a sudden, there's a collusion thing going on.
Oh, yeah, we have a Russian connection anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's they have to keep the cars running.
Yeah.
If you turn them off for a period of time, because you mentioned a story about when you stayed
I told you my
in
own personal experience up at the Caribou Motel. When I was checking in, the guy at the door said, "Now don't forget, you got to get up in the middle of the night and start your car, run it for at least 15 minutes." Yeah. I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, if you don't, you can come back in the spring and pick it up."
Yeah, that is bizarre.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but it gets cold there, and they were saying that I read an article that somebody broke down up in this particular town, and just walking 20 minutes, they died. People trying to get someplace.
Wow.
It was that cold. Why would you want to live there? But, you know, I guess if you had nothing else in your life and you were born there and you're used to it.
Yeah. And probably you can't get out. There's probably no roads or anything. It's all snowed in, all ice and...
Well, during the winter time, but I imagine there's got to be times when they bring stuff in there.
Yeah, they drop it from a plane.
God bless them.
Here comes the food for the week.
Well, the big story of the weekend was?
The big story of the weekend was the Patriots.
Unbelievable.
I think, yeah. I mean, football was definitely the big story. Both games were. Did you watch both games?
First one was very controversial.
Well, I agree. I think the Patriots should be playing the Saints.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL's admitted it. You know
they did admit it.
That was a bad.
They told the coach that we screwed up.
Yeah.
They told him they were at the game, and then they had a phone call in the morning from the NFL and said we made a mistake.
Yeah, but if they had gotten that touchdown, you still don't know what would have happened after.
No, you don't.
That's the problem. But it was such a bad call.
Yeah, but the ref was standing right there too, and the guy just plowed into him. He didn't give him an opportunity to catch the ball.
Right. Yeah.
So it's the human factor in the game, Billy. I mean, you take that call yesterday with the Patriots game, hitting Brady in the head. That really was a brush.
It was.
But the fellow was behind him.
Right.
You know, the referee.
Right. And it looked from his angle
that he was going to smack him in the head, but it basically brushed.
I mean, they got a tough job trying to see everything. Well, you get all the calls.
22 guys out there. You're trying to keep tabs on who's doing what.
Right.
And, and you do see times when the calls are missed, and and you give them credit for the times that they do pick up the calls.
Right.
And I tell you, it's that Edelman. He's had some tremendous plays.
He does.
Where when we played in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and he caught that ball that was basically laying on the guy's ankle.
Yeah.
and then that call yesterday where they had to microscopically check to see did it touch his thumb. Did it touch
his thumb?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't.
It didn't, thank goodness. But he knew right off. He come right up and said, "No, I never touched that." And I mean, that would have been a change too.
Oh, it could have been.
Just a hair difference.
But Brady really He is the GOAT. I'll tell you. He
is good.
He is still got it. He's still got it. But I would have liked to have seen them play the Saints because would have had two mature quarterbacks going. Really experienced guys. And
Drew Brees has a great reputation.
He does.
Yeah.
And he's 40, and Brady's what, 42 now? Is he 42?
41, I think he is.
41?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I worry about is that if they win the Super Bowl, and I think there's a good shot they will, they're the favorite already.
Yeah, they started out as the underdog, and now they're the favorite.
In the Super Bowl, they started out as the underdog?
Yeah, they like 1.5, and then it went to 1.5, I think, for the Pats, just over since last night.
Yeah, so they're, if they win, is that the time the people get off when they're on top? They won the Super Bowl.
You got to.
So Brady might say, I'm not coming back. Gronk might say, I'm not coming back.
It's a good chance Gronk's not coming back.
Yeah, I think there is a good chance of it, especially if we win the Super Bowl.
Well, you know what they could happen?
But it's also about money for Gronk and other opportunities, because he's got other opportunities.
He does.
He could go to the Vince McMahon wants him in the World Wrestling, and also he's had offers to go to Hollywood and be like the next Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, kind of one of those guys. I think he'd have his own persona, though.
He does. And the thing is, he's very, very good with his money. He hasn't spent a nickel of his NFL money.
Yeah.
He's living off of all the sponsorships.
All the donut, all the Dunkin'.
And all the other stuff that he
and
does.
the other things he's done, yeah.
He's a big kid.
They were saying today that just to go to the Super Bowl, though, it's like everybody gets paid an extra $250,000.
Is it?
Yeah. Some of the guys, they said, on the team will actually make more money just showing up for the Super Bowl than they made all season with the Patriots.
Oh, these are guys that basically on the sidelines.
The rookies. Yeah. The guys that are new. How about that guy Jackson? Where did he come from? I never heard, but he screwed up. He had like 4 penalties yesterday.
Yeah. But he's a talented ball player.
Yeah, real talented.
Maybe just a little overzealous.
Because he cheats and holds people.
They all cheat, Billy.
Oh, jeez.
No, maybe he's a little overzealous, though. But the thing is Belichick seems to utilize players that
he does
in the playoffs that don't get much attention during the regular season. Well, Burkhead was out for quite a few games because he was injured, and he was a superstar last night. He put them, into the Super Bowl with that run.
Yeah. I know. Burkhead all of a sudden was...
he'd been out. He had been injured. He did get injured earlier in the year.
Sony Michel did well for playing not at home.
Yeah.
His yards per game was terrible all season away, when he was away. He could get 100-plus yards at Gillette. But so I wonder, do they have a betting line on all the names of the Patriots, on who Belichick is going to bench for the Super Bowl?
I had Malcolm Butler last year. Yeah, I made $10 off of that.
You did, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
if they fly straight, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big question: is what happened to Malcolm Butler last year?
I know.
Nobody seems to know.
No. I know.
And eventually it may come out, but
there were just a couple of little rumors, but nothing got heated up as to what was the deal.
Yeah. Did you see Belichick, though? He showed a lot of emotion because the Patriots got beat on the same play twice for touchdowns. Did you notice that? That play on the left-hand side where they just run down the sideline? And did you see his little iPad? Jesus.
Oh, when he threw it.
Oh, man. He
threw it away.
The thing is they should do an ad. If that thing came back in one piece, you could say it is durable.
Yeah, that's right.
But he is something, though.
He is something. He is, he and Brady are just the two of them have had magic.
If they win this time, Billy, it's the perfect time to bow out.
Well, but who's going to bow out? I mean, would you think Brady would do that to, as they call him, Mr. Kraft? Do you think Brady, without a real strong backup quarterback, would just say, you know what, heading home, not coming back?
Well, maybe they could trade for one. I tell you, I'd love to see this kid Mahomes in a Patriots
I don't think they're letting him go too easy.
No, but they'd free up some money if Brady leaves.
Yeah, It would. It would.
I would like to see. What
got-
else does he have to prove? If they win
Nothing.
the Super Bowl, what else is there to prove?
And he may say, what did he do right away? Said hello to his wife and his family, and that's really genuine. I mean, and so
And he also used the F word.
I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah, he said F and exceptional.
Really?
Yeah.
During that first.
Yeah, when he was being
I
interviewed
didn't
at the
catch
end of the
that.
game, they caught it there. He said F and exceptional.
Nice.
So they caught him very quick on that, and so you talk about him saying hi to his wife. He's also swearing when it comes. But in the heat of the game, I mean, he was ecstatic.
Yeah.
Because afterwards he was yelling to Hogan, "We're too old to get this done." They said we're too old.
I think that helped.
Of course it
he
did,
was
and they were
mad.
underdogs going
He
into
was
there.
mad, yep, and they
They
were
had
on first time in many years.
Yeah, they had something to prove.
I think in over 2 years they were underdogs.
Yeah.
So they weren't. They hadn't been underdogs. So
and I could see them being an underdog.
but this will be
because the Chiefs only lost one time in their.
this
turf.
gives them, it will be their 9th Super Bowl in 18 years. So on average every other year.
Yeah.
And it's been more recent than that lately. But
Well, it's the third year in a row.
yeah, right.
They're
Well,
gone.
it's third in a row, but it's what is it? 5 out of 6,
Yeah.
something like that. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more. And if you want to join us, call 978-374-1900. We have open lines this hour on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the Open.
Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, back again on the Open Mic Show. It is 6:20, and today is really a holiday for many people.
It is a holiday.
It is. Martin
So
Luther
we're going to
King
break
Day.
away from sports, but we are going to pick it up again around after the 7 o'clock news
Yeah,
hour.
next hour you have a a person you know who is an expert on Patriots.
Yeah, he
and
just released a book in November on the New England Patriots.
So we'll tease the people with that, so they'll want to stick around for the 7:00 hour.
He knows everything about the Patriots.
Yeah, maybe he knows why Malcolm Butler.
No, he doesn't, and I'll tell you why. I asked him before,
What?
and I went to a book signing, and somebody posed the question.
Yeah.
And it's the $1 million question.
It
Nobody
is.
knows. We'll ask him again, though.
Well, nobody will ever. Why don't we get Belichick on the show?
Belichick doesn't speak.
No.
You ever see him up there? He's so morbid.
He doesn't say much. You can't get anything out of him.
Yeah, and if you ask him a question that just doesn't sound right, he looks at you like you're stupid. Because nobody knows football like he does. He eats, sleeps, and drinks football.
He does.
Billy.
Yeah,
He's amazing. They say even when he rides his exercise bike in the morning,
Yeah.
he's got videos that he's watching in front of him
Really?
while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to miss a beat.
No, he is definitely addicted to football, but he does a great job. He's the best. He's the GOAT of coaches in a sense.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, for the amount of times he keeps winning.
Yeah.
Vince Lombardi, they named the Super Bowl trophy after him, but that's because he won the first Super Bowl, which I can understand. But
Right.
you wonder if they'll have a Belichick trophy sometime.
Maybe they should. I mean, he definitely is high ranking as for accomplishment as a coach, and I'm glad he's here. Remember? I thought he was crazy the way he left the Jets. Remember that?
Yeah, one day.
One day.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be like little psycho the way he just quit.
Well, because he got the offer from the Pats.
Right.
And maybe he was kind of, it bothered him that he took the job at first with the Jets.
Yeah.
And maybe he was a little concerned that the Pats waited a day too long, but yet then he took it, and then they had to give up a draft choice or two, I think it was, to the Jets because he bounced right over there. And,
Hey,
it would have been the Jets with this.
I'm glad he did what he did, and he's unbelievable. Hey, it's also that we have to remind people that if they have a birthday or an anniversary, friend, relative, even themselves, they can call it in, 978-374-1900, and they can either just give the information to our producer, Chris, or they can talk to us this hour.
You know what, Billy? If they want to call us up too, and you and I talked about this, why don't we expand it a little bit? That if they call us up, and then if I ask them a trivia question, if they get it, then they get to have their name in the hat also.
Okay, sure, we can
That would
do
be
that.
good.
Yeah, we'll do that. And the number to call, 978-374-1900, and it's all for the giveaway at the end of the month.
Which be next week.
Their birthday has to be not this month, but next month. And
Month
it's
of
an
February.
LBD,
Or if anybody,
second generation,
Yeah.
Italian bakery. We want to thank them for giving away this cake every month. And LBD's second generation Italian bakery in Bradford, right in Bradford Square, is a fantastic place to go for cookies, sweets,
delicious.
Italian bread. I mean, you name it. You can go in there and get it fresh baked. It is delicious.
and you know what? Next month being Valentine's Day is in the month of February. If you want to call up and say, I want to put my sweetheart's name in the hat, whether you be a man for a woman or a woman
should
for
do
a
that.
man or whatever,
Sure.
you can call up also.
Yeah.
Willie, we do have a call.
Let's take that call right now. Hello, caller.
I'm a caller.
Oh, look who's here.
Brian, how are you tonight?
Brian.
Okay, how are you?
Good, sir.
Good.
How are you surviving this cold weather?
I hate it. I want to be someplace warmer.
Yeah, me too.
Where would you go if you had a choice to go someplace?
St. Martin.
Really?
Ooh.
Now, what do you like about that? The dangerous airport?
Well, I don't know anything about a dangerous airport, but
Google it.
How about the
I
nude,
took my
the
wife
nude
there
beach?
for-
How about the nude beach?
well, that's where I go when I do go. I've just been there once and had a great time.
I knew that's why you chose St. Martin.
Really? The nude beach?
Well, there are other places.
Oh,
United States, lots of places.
you have. Is there a book that you can buy or go online and Google?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you probably can.
Oh, sure.
What do you want?
I don't know.
Warm places or nude places?
I just.
Well, whatever you
I've
want.
never-
Wouldn't you
I've
feel
never
kind
done that.
Now, Brian, I've never met you, but wouldn't you feel kind of odd being on the beach and all these young strapping guys are walking and strutting their stuff, and you're trying to show whatever it is that you have?
Well, I don't show what I.
What do you do? So you carry a newspaper? Mentioning that though, do you remember one of the Pink Panther movies where Peter Sellers,
I remember,
Clouseau,
yeah.
he went into the nudist colony
Inspector
on the
Clouseau.
case.
Was that with the guitar?
With the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And do you remember when they raided the place and him and Elkie Summer grabbed the car, the little car, and they took off and they got caught in the center of town and they're naked in the car and there's a whole big traffic jam and all these people are walking by looking at them.
I'd forgotten that.
Oh, he was great. Peter Sellers was some of the funniest movies that he was in. Clouseau.
So what's on your mind, Brian? Anything in particular? You got a birth? You called a birthday in already this month, right?
Yeah, I called one in.
Yeah.
I have another friend who's got a birthday in February, but I don't remember her address. But her name is Angela.
Angela? Okay. Well, why don't we just take your information for this and
Well, it's all
care
right.
of. It'll be.
I haven't redeemed the last one yet.
Care of. Oh, okay. All right.
What do you mean you redeemed it? How about the person that won it?
Oh.
No, I won the October birthday, and I have yet to.
Okay.
Well, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Well, I don't know.
Well, maybe
We'll see.
pick it up.
I'm going to see what the kids want, and
There you go.
and let them have the cake.
How many children do you have, Brian?
I don't know.
You don't know? A lot of drunken Saturday nights, I take it.
Okay. Well, we won't push on that.
No.
So,
But you know what? I've been, watching the news. Do you get this stories about this wall that the president
yeah,
wants built?
yeah.
And everybody's
Border
saying how
security. It's border
ineffective
security
it would be
is what he
and
calls it.
all this stuff, but nobody's talking about the throughways that already exist that go underground, literally, and come up in the U.S.
Well, it's one of the
Throughway.
the tunnels.
Yes,
The tunnels.
yes.
Yeah.
You make it sound like it's a six-lane highway.
Well, no, maybe it's just 2 lanes.
Well, anything that they want to block and stop whatever they can. And I think he has a
I don't
legitimate point.
understand. I just don't understand what.
I mean, you may not be able to get a zero.
No,
Of course, Brian, they're not going to build a wall on top of a tunnel, knowing that the tunnel is underneath. I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
Talking about the tunnel.
No, I actually heard
but
one person talk about it on.
But they've
I was
been every
listening.
time they find a tunnel, they take the measures to take care of it.
And they said that whatever they build will go down. I don't know how many feet, but it will go
I
down.
haven't heard that part.
Yeah, I heard that part, that it will, either it's foundation or whatever, but it will also go down to prevent tunneling.
And they
Tunnel clink.
But how far down can you go? I mean, maybe they just dig deeper.
I wouldn't know. Ask an architect.
Right, exactly. Well, anyway, it's we'll see. It's up to Nancy, I think, right now to figure it out if she wants to do anything.
Brian, I'm gonna take a guess that you've got left leanings. Why is it that all these politicians on the Dem side, who were for a wall previously, have turned against it now?
I don't know. I don't remember the Democrats being for a wall.
Brian, there's 100
There's a proven
videotapes out
track
there
record of
Schumer and
voting,
Pelosi.
of voting too. Right.
Yeah, they voted for this before.
Yeah, I've
Hillary
heard that.
talked about it. But all of a sudden now, and this is my analogy, if Donald Trump said he liked sunshine, the Democrats would pray for rain. That's how bad things have gotten.
Well,
And now he wants to help out with the Dreamers Act, the DACA, and now they're against that. Oh, no, you're not giving us anything. So all this is a political move because they know if Donald Trump gets the wall, he becomes president again in 2020. They're trying to put a bridge or a wall between him and his constituents, the people that voted for him.
I figure that people are still going to be able to cross the border somehow, and it's going to be the Democrats' fault no matter what.
It's going to, but if they deter it, though, I mean, ask Netanyahu how's the wall working for them. Ask the Vatican how's their wall been working for them. Ask Nancy Pelosi, who has a wall around where she lives, how is it working for her. It's okay for all these other people to have walls. How come we can't have a wall? We're protecting the nation.
Protection, huh?
All right. Well, you know what?
Well,
We're coming up on our half-hour break.
I know. I'm just not buying all that business.
We're not asking you to buy it, Brian. Just go in lockstep and just take my word for it.
I don't have to buy it. It's free.
Okay. All right. You two. Yeah. All right.
I love Brian.
We got to keep it more upbeat than that discussion. All right.
Okay. Brian, listen up at the 7 o'clock hour.
7 o'clock.
We got a guy that's going to be on that knows everything.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the man of the day, Martin Luther King Jr.
was Boston University.
Yeah, well, not right now because we need to take a break.
All right, let's take a break and we'll come back.
I think it's important that we say a few words about the man who the day has been named after and all he accomplished and what he stood for. So
exactly,
I think that would be fitting. So let's do that when we come back here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495.
It's 6:32.
97.9 WHAV.
Paul Ryan, HHS class of 1971, and Tommy Morgan, HHS class of 2013, are good sports. They're on 97.9 WHAV FM every Wednesday night from 6 to 8. Ryan and Morgan talk about local high school sports, the Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, and more. You can join in with your calls. Good Sports is sponsored in part by attorney Gerard LaFlamme, Ideal Frame, Brian S. Dempsey Insurance Agency, Levitt's Auto and Truck, and The Chicken Connection. Good Sports every Wednesday night at 6 on the Wave 97.9 WHAV FM.
Say Smith. Mercedes-Benz has for over 50 years. Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill offers new and certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz SUVs, crossovers, sedans, and coupes. And with its state-of-the-art sales and service facility, Smith is able to offer a different kind of customer experience unlike any other. Countless reasons, one choice. Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill at 420 River Street, routes 110 and 113. There's more on the web at onlymercedes.com.
Wave weather!
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Wind chill advisory in effect until 8 a.m. Skies becoming mainly cleared tonight. Very cold, low of 5 below zero. Wind chill values as cold as -20. Wind gusts over 30 miles per hour at times. Full sunny skies for Tuesday, high 25 degrees. Wind chills around -15 with the 15-mile-an-hour breeze. Tuesday night will be pretty clear early, then increasing clouds, low 15. Warming up nicely, the low to mid-40s on Wednesday. Few showers late day. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
WHAV Open Mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Back again on the Open Mic Show, Bill Macek and Bill Ellis. We are here until 8 o'clock tonight. And in this hour, we have open lines at 978-374-1900. So call in if you'd like to join the conversation, if you have a comment, or if you have something to talk about. One call today about, bad plowing on streets, and I heard. So if you have something you'd like to talk about that way, you can let us know, and we'll see how many people want to get involved. I kind of thought the plow guys did a fantastic job driving around Haverhill. Though I didn't hit all the streets, and it was
with the amount of snow and the freezing rain and the ice, and
it almost hit perfect though. It hit on Sunday with a Monday holiday, and so there wasn't as much traffic. There weren't as many people that wanted to get out and get to work.
Mother Nature gave us a break.
Didn't have to go to school. Right. She planned it. She socked us, but she kind of planned it.
I think she did this because of you.
Me?
I think you personally, yeah.
So she helped out because she likes me?
No. She gave us this storm because of you.
No.
I think
No,
so,
no,
Billy. I
no.
think it's
There's
we're
no-
paying for your sins.
That's just outrageous to say. Hey, well, you know what? We have a call, so before we get to MLK, let's take a phone call, not
right.
have our person stay on the line waiting. Hello, caller.
Hello. I wonder what MLK would think if we were thinking about building a wall in his day. But that's another topic.
Well, I'll tell you one. This is and I've said this to Bill Ellis
Trump,
many times, but let me just say something about MLK. MLK said we should all be colorblind. He had a whole different idea about race. He felt we should all be colorblind, and if we adhered to that statement alone, we would have a lot less of the infighting or whatever you want to call it among racial groups, and I just think that that's a wonderful statement. I've kind of tried to live by it, and I give him a lot of credit for coming up with that concept that we should all be colorblind.
But I still think, okay, the wall, first of all, I want to know who Trump's going to hand the contracts out to construct the wall. There's a lot of big bucks there, $5 billion. There's a lot of big money there.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe what they could do is give it to the same group that the Clintons gave it to the Haitians for $55 million to build 11 houses.
Well,
Maybe that would be a good idea.
This is $100. This is
Yeah, if we're talking about the billions of dollars, I'm sure the contracts will have some guidance to it on who can get it and who can't get it. He's not just they're not going to hand him $5.7 billion and say, all right, now call up Jared Kushner and see who he wants to have the job take care of it.
You never know.
Well, but wait a minute.
Do you think there'd be any blowback to that?
But is that the reason to not build it? Because you're worried that maybe the wrong company? So the question really is, do you or do you not support
I don't support the wall. You know why?
Tell me why.
After they build the southern wall, then they have to build a northern wall.
Well,
I haven't seen the Eskimos flocking in. MS-13 Eskimos. Oh, we will?
Does MS-13 come through Mexico, or do they come through Kennedy Airport? You're going to put a wall around Kennedy Airport, too, right?
No, that's why they have the TSA checks these people
out.
out.
One around Logan Airport.
I think we need a comprehensive
one
review.
Around, the coastline. Oh, I know what you have to do. How are you going to patrol? Well, we're not patrolling it now because the Coast Guard isn't getting paid.
Yeah, well, thanks Schumer and Pelosi for that.
Control the ports, the stuff that comes in through the ports.
Well, how would you? Let me ask you a question.
Well,
so you want everything to be open? Everybody's free to come in. We're welcome.
Oh no, I'm like.
So how are we going to deter these people from coming in?
I am like the Democrats before Trump came in. I am for strong borders. It's just the wall is not the way to go about doing it. That's what the argument is. Everybody wants secure
Okay, when
borders.
Schumer and Pelosi came out and said that they were in favor of a wall, did you speak out against them?
That's a hole in the snow. That's a hole in the snow, man.
Let me ask you something. Would you?
This is a gender-neutral show.
Would you? One of the thoughts that I have is that this could also be fixed by making sure that employers hire only legally in the country people. They don't have to be citizens.
And I think employees should face jail time if they don't.
That's why there's a lot of people, even Republicans, that support the big businesses. And I don't know how they get away with paying people under the table.
There have been restrictions in place for 50 years. They're just not enforced.
But they're not enforced, right?
And they should be enforced.
They should be enforced.
Now, the thing is,
let me ask you
something that I listened to the other day. On a Canadian news source, and they are worried about the southern wall affecting them. Because what they have now, from Mexico, you can fly to Montreal with no visa for $400. And guess where people, if you build a southern wall, guess where people are going to come in through?
Right. So
your northern border.
So the problem is in the in. Right.
You're going to build a 4,500-mile wall across the U.S.-Canada border?
Yeah, but how many of them are taking flights? Everybody's coming over by foot.
Some are taking flights. Even some are coming over as students, and they've got student visas, and they overstay.
Did you ever see the movie American Gangster?
No.
Okay. Well, if you saw that, you'd see how did they get drugs into the country from Vietnam? They put them in the coffins of soldiers dead soldiers, dead GIs, and when they got to Newark Airport, they had the drug, what was his name, Frank Lucas, had a, drug empire in New York, New Jersey, and he had Confederates at Newark Airport extract the packages.
Okay.
And he said, that's just an example. When the Vietnam War ended and the South Vietnamese government and the generals fled for their lives, they found other ways to get them into the country.
So these MS-13 people are going to hide out in coffins?
What about our coastline? How are you going to protect that?
Well, we have a national the Coast Guard. It doesn't say it's 100% perfect, but it acts as a deterrent. Of course, there's nothing that's 100%.
Right, but the Coast Guard, didn't they find a few years ago the Medellin cartel actually had a submarine?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so how are you going to protect? How are you going to protect against? Oh, this is going to stop drugs from coming in. They're going to find a way. They're smarter than the government. You put up one obstacle, they're going to find another way to get around it.
Right. The thing is they'll always come up with different ideas, and we always have to try to combat against it. But if you act as a deterrent, these guys that are walking up from Honduras aren't building submarines. Trust me.
No. And most of them aren't bringing drugs in either.
I had a friend who had to fill out some paperwork for Mass Health recently for a relative. And her comment was, in going through the paperwork, if he was illegal, it would have been a lot easier to qualify.
Maybe it would. I don't know.
That's true. There's a Boston radio personality that says, treat me like I'm an illegal. Because you don't spend jail time. You get all the free health care.
Yeah.
Well, take a look at Barack Obama's aunt.
Those are the things that I just don't understand.
She spent her life here for free.
Take a look at Trump's in-laws.
All right, what about his in-laws?
Trump's in-laws get in quickly? How did they get in quickly?
Get in quickly where? How? In what respect? In what respect?
Oh. How did they get in?
I'm not aware.
I asked you a question, and you're acting like an idiot. I asked you a question. You want to respond?
Okay. Yep, that's typical.
You don't want to respond?
He's an idiot.
I asked you a quick question.
I asked the question. I asked the question.
All right, so answer the question.
Which was?
You forgot all about it. You mentioned about Trump's in-laws getting in.
You forgot? No, I was talking, and I must have talked over you. What was the question you had?
The question I had when you started jumping all over me for something that you didn't know about was I asked you the question you mentioned about Trump's in-laws, and I asked you the question about that.
Yep. What about them? How did they get in?
Billy, it's time to go. This guy is definitely lost.
Look it up. Look up how Trump's in-laws get in.
Why don't you tell me, Professor?
Okay, I will tell you what happened. Melania got in, and there are questions as to whether she got in legally or not, but she did get a job.
In-laws. Isn't Melania his wife?
She wasn't his wife at the time, I don't think.
But she wasn't related? But okay, you said in-laws.
I don't know, but when you're in a position like that. But my point is, you can build a wall. There's going to be another way around it. We're going to have another problem somewhere else.
There are many other areas.
And you know that I would venture a guess
infiltration.
with the incidences of gang members in this area. Ask them how many came through Mexico and where the wall would go. And I think you would find very, very few. A very low percentage came through Mexico.
Well, we'll have to check that out. Well, caller, we appreciate your point of view tonight, and we do respect it.
We want to hear from you often.
That's what makes America great, is we can go on both sides.
MAGA. Mueller ain't going away, but that's right. Okay.
That's another subject we'll talk about another time, my friend.
Okay, hey, thanks a lot for calling in.
Take care, caller. Thank you very much.
We do have to take a break. It's 6:45.
And let's talk about Martin Luther King when we get back.
We will. Right. Here we go on the Open Mic Show. We'll be right back. 978-374-1900 is the number if you'd like to call in, and we'll get to you too right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495.
97.9 FM, WHAV.
Catch It's the Wave.
On air or online, 97.9 WHAV serves you. Twice an hour weekdays, keep up to date with exclusive local news and weather. Find out about civic events on Community Spotlight every quarter hour. And better prepare with WAVE weather every 30 minutes. Mass Moments, Melinda's Garden Moment, Soundbeat, and Insight Daily complete the spectrum. Hear classic comedy and drama 7 nights a week at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. Finally, a unique blend of rock and roll hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s round out the entertainment. Stay with 97.9 WHAV, the only Haverhill-based news source.
Say Smith. Mercedes-Benz has for over 50 years. Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill offers new and certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz SUVs, crossovers, sedans, and coupes. And with its state-of-the-art sales and service facility, Smith is able to offer a different kind of customer experience unlike any other. Countless reasons, one choice. Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill at 420 River Street, routes 110 and 113. There's more on the web at onlymercedes.com.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the Open Mic Show. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I know a lot of people that had the day off. Definitely all the government workers and the post office, and it's a big holiday.
National holiday.
No schools.
Yeah.
So teachers.
You know, the thing is, Billy, Martin Luther King Jr. made a lot of statements that would make you think. You know, one of the things that he said, and it's kind of scary. Remember when he said, I may not be with you when you get to the mountaintop?
Yeah.
And he got assassinated shortly after that.
Yeah, he knew
You wonder if he had some sort of thought or dream or something that had come to him.
Or that he knew he was in, a territory for what he stood for, that somebody was going to hate him.
Yeah.
Somebody would hate, kind of like what's going on now, how the people hate police. They're killing police just because they're in a police uniform.
You're right.
It's really a sad state that a lot of people have driven themselves into. They're like, we can't get along anymore. That's why I've mentioned before, my favorite quote is Rodney King, when he said, "Why can't we all just get along?" Now, he's not like Martin Luther King.
No.
But Martin Luther King, you had some of the stats we were talking about. He would be 90 years old today.
Right.
And if he were to have not been shot and had good genes that he could live to 90. And he was born January 15th, 1929, and he was on April 4th, 1968, at the age of only 39.
Yeah, he was young.
He was assassinated.
James Earl Ray.
Yeah.
And do you remember the famous talk that Bobby Kennedy gave to a crowd? And, to a crowd of black people, and he basically said to them, I can understand your hate, your anger, but my family, I lost a family member to a bullet.
Yeah.
And he's credited for calming down a crowd that could have become very hostile.
Yeah.
Because of what was done.
I think he would have made a great president, but he didn't make it either.
No, sad but true.
Yeah.
No, he made. I'm telling you, Billy, he made a lot of great comments.
A lot of people may not know Martin Luther King went to Boston University.
Boston University. He also went to Morehouse.
Yeah.
In fact, it was at Morehouse where he got his inspiration to become a minister and a preacher.
Well, he went to it's Crozer Theological Seminary.
Afterwards, but the president of Morehouse, he got a chance to listen to speak, And then I think it was another member of the faculty there
Got him
that,
interested,
that
yeah.
he got interested
Well,
in.
it
In
makes
fact,
sense,
he ended
'cause
up
he went
going
to
over and
Morehouse.
spending time with them, invited him over his house for dinner, and that was the catalyst of making Martin Luther
He went
King.
to Morehouse first.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Turning into the man that he turned out to be. He gives credit to those two as mentors, because I think originally that wasn't his goal when he originally went to college.
Yeah, probably not.
No,
but it just kind of happened.
The inspiration was there.
Yeah.
You know, and
Quite a person, and unfortunate early death. I think he could have made big strides with segregation and things we lived through. You know, I mean,
well, he sure tried. I mean, it's, back then the country was going through a lot of turmoil. You had the blacks that weren't allowed to go to schools. You had George Wallace there that was standing up, trying to prevent
When
it.
I think about just in my lifetime what has occurred with the Boston school desegregation.
Yeah.
So many, a big judicial Judge Garrity. See,
Judge Garrity,
even
yeah.
remember his name.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I went to school in Boston, Billy.
Really? Were
Yeah.
you part of the desegregation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was quite the
It was
experience.
quite a time. The busing that went
Well,
on.
it was. And the thing is, Billy, is when we were growing up back then, we had kids that were friends of mine that were of all colors.
Well, that's the way I.
And it
that's
seemed
why I
like
said
it was
Martin Luther King
the
was so
adults
right.
that made more of it a problem out of it than us
Right,
kids.
exactly. And that's more the case today, too. I think that a lot of those color barriers or walls, just feelings, I don't think as many people have those feelings anymore. At least, especially the younger generation.
Most definitely.
I give them credit.
I think we have come away.
Come a ways, yep.
Have we come all the way? No.
No.
Will we ever come all the way? Probably not.
I don't know.
But for each day that we make progress,
Can
I
only
think
hope.
we're that much better off.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
No.
Well,
I don't know. It's just God bless his soul, and I see that he still has family members that are carrying on his legacy, and there are a lot of people in public life today,
Right.
That still quote Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, and the fact that he went to Boston University, I bet he would have been cheering for the Patriots.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, he was born down south.
Well, but Kansas City is not
No,
down
it
south.
wouldn't have been there too.
No.
But so who would he have been rooting for when Atlanta and the Patriots played? Atlanta?
Probably Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, unless he's a real Patriots fan. I don't know. Maybe we can try to find out if he.
How are we going to find out if he was a Patriots fan?
We're going to ask the guy.
We will ask Richard Johnson, the curator for the Sports Museum, is going to be on at the 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah,
and
we'll ask him.
You ask him because it's a stupid question. How's he going to know who Martin Luther King Jr. loved in football?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where was he born? Alabama? Mississippi?
He was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, then he was an Atlanta fan, Billy.
Well, maybe growing up, but maybe he came to Boston and.
So he fell in love with. Now, what year was he at Boston University?
That's not given. The years of his education were not given here in the information
I would have a tendency to say that he was not a Patriots fan, because I'm going to take a guess. When he went to Boston University, there were no Boston Patriots.
Really?
Yeah, the Boston Patriots started like in the 59 or 60.
Yeah, you may be right. Yeah. He was born in 29, so he would have been 30 when they started. So yeah, there's probably you may have.
I think I'm
hit
correct
a point
with that
there
one.
that you're correct that he's.
We'll find out. Richard Johnson will know.
Atlanta fan.
Yeah, because a friend of mine's father was the original Patriots.
But I bet you he'd
draft
have tickets to the Super Bowl.
MLK?
Yeah, because it's in Atlanta this year.
That's true. So you want to get friendly with his family, because you're looking for tickets?
No, I happened to look right after the game. I looked at my email, and I had a Ticketmaster options to buy to go to the game, to the big game.
And how many seats you buy?
I didn't buy any. I can't afford it.
Oh, come on.
No,
Why don't you know what'd be nice?
If you want to stay at the one of the airport hotels for 3 nights, go to one of the parties, and have a seat at the game, it was $6,625.
That's with the seat?
That was.
Geez, I saw a thing that seats were $7,000 just to go to the game.
Well, that might have happened
you
later.
Get quite a deal.
Ticketmaster, they may have upped the price, or there was a lot of resellers. I thought about, maybe I should. I didn't have that kind of money to buy that, but maybe if I wanted to buy, listen, there was the cheap package. There were two in the middle, and the fourth package, the cheap package, $2,225. You didn't get to go to the game, and you.
Just your luck.
You did get a
ticket and sit behind a beam.
Fly you down, right? They'd fly you down. No ticket to the game, and you could go to a party. It's like, okay, so they let you into a pub someplace, and you're spending over $2,000
just to be in the pub,
and you don't even have. You don't get a. Yeah, they fly you down. No hotel room, so maybe you could rent a car if there's any rental cars available. In Atlanta, they're probably all taken up, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And so you could live in the car for like 3 or 4 days.
And you know what gets big business every Super Bowl? Prostitution.
Oh, God.
It's true. Sad but true. They all flock to that because there are guys there just looking to party hard.
I don't want to go there.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, there are people who go down to camp out for a week. I have a friend of mine. He eats, sleeps, and drinks Patriots. They went over to play in England. He went over there for a week. He went to France first, then he went over to the game.
Yeah.
He'll go to this Super Bowl, I know. He's been to all the other Super Bowls. Wherever they go, he managed to get tickets, and he just loves them.
Must have money.
You know what? That's his only love.
So he spends all of his money on
Patriots. His money on the Patriots. In fact, his daughter was a Patriots cheerleader.
No kidding.
Yeah, she was, I think, for 2 years or 4 years or whatever it was. But a very lovely gal. And he himself had, I think, 6 tickets. And then the
season tickets?
Yeah. And then
or Super Bowl tickets?
No, six season tickets.
Wow.
And then I think he had 2 additional tickets with the daughter. Because as a cheerleader, I guess they get access to tickets.
Wow!
But no, he'll take his wife. It'll be he and his wife, and I think he only has access to 2. I'm not sure what the deal is if you're a season ticket holder for the Pats. If you get some sort of an option for the Super Bowl, I think there is something that you get.
There's probably some. Yeah, you probably get in a lottery.
I think it's probably a lottery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
they probably don't have enough to go around.
Yeah.
But, I once tried to get a couple of season tickets. When I had my radio station in Fitchburg, I'm sorry, not in Fitchburg, the one in Winchendon, the FM there, long time ago, I got on the list. And at the time, to get on the waiting list for a season ticket, it was $50. You had to send them $50 for each seat you wanted. So I sent them $100. And I waited, and it just never happened. I never got up to the point that I was. But then finally, back maybe 6 years ago, I got an email said,
6 years ago.
Yeah.
And when were you out of Winchendon? About 30 years ago?
No, well, not quite that many, but about 18 years ago. So, it took that long for me to come from my, so. But the one thing I did get during the, say, 15, 18 years, whatever it was that I was waiting, is that they would give me options to buy some packages, like maybe 4 games, but you always got 2 preseason and 2 regular season. Or you could get, I went and saw Billy Joel and Elton John at whatever it was, Foxborough, because they gave you a little, like a day advance on when tickets before they went to the general public.
Oh, that's good.
So there were some advantages for me giving him my money. But, finally I get this, so I call him. I say, here I am. I gave him my number, my reservation number. He goes, yeah, you're in, what we have to offer you is in the top tier. I'm going, what are you kidding me? These are season tickets, and I'm up on the on the roof, on the 3rd balcony. So I said, is there anything, can I go back on the waiting list? He said, yeah, you'll go back to the end of the line. We'll do that for you. I haven't heard from him since.
Line.
Yeah, they put me back in the back. I haven't heard from him since, but you know what? so it goes. And Bob Kraft is that much richer because he never sent me back my $100.
You know what? He was talking about that the other day.
What?
And how he beat you.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I should send him a bill. Hey, we're going to take a break for the 7 o'clock top of the hour information. We are doing the open mic show until 8 o'clock right here on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495.
It's 7:01.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's what's happening in local news. A former elected Delaware state treasurer says the murder of a Haverhill teen in 2017 might have been prevented if officials down south acted on his concerns about the Benner family. Instead, former treasurer Chip Flowers told WHAV Saturday he was forced into a political battle which forced him not to seek re-election in 2014. Flowers, who now lives in Massachusetts, said the shooting death of 18-year-old Bryce Finn in the doorway of his Rainbow Drive home might have been averted. Flowers told WHAV, "I will go to my grave believing that even though I worked with law enforcement, had the state of Delaware prosecuted them for what they did to me and my family, that young man, Bryce Finn, would still be alive today." He alleged 21-year-old Joseph Maxwell Max Benner, who was charged Friday in connection with Finn's murder, had a horrible temper. Flowers charged Benner threatened him and his future wife during a 2014 4th of July parade in Dover, Delaware. He said the then teen pounded on the car's window, displayed his middle finger, and shouted expletives and racial slurs. Benner is scheduled to be arraigned Tuesday in Haverhill District Court. Benner's mother, Erica McZuba Benner of Methuen, served as the deputy treasurer for the state of Delaware before resigning amid scandal in 2013. Flowers said the Methuen native used her state credit card for personal purchases and tried to falsely implicate him. While Flowers was cleared, the deputy made further allegations that her former boss had harassed her. Although he was later exonerated again by Dover, Delaware police, he had already chosen not to seek re-election. "Nobody did anything. People wanted me out of politics," Flowers told WHAV. In a separate email, Flowers added, "I had no knowledge of my deputy's actions. It was determined my deputy was using the card for financial difficulties related to her drug addiction and secretly paying back the money through a sympathetic person in the treasurer's office." As WHAV previously reported, Erica Benner was arrested along with her 16-year-old son after a stop at her parents' and son's West Meadow Road condominium in February 2018. She and 20-year-old Jake Kavanaugh, also of Haverhill, were each charged with possession of drugs with intent to distribute and conspiracy to violate drug laws. She was also charged with reckless endangerment of a child. Court documents show the arrests came as a result of Haverhill police surveillance, where officers said they saw the juvenile Benner pass an anti-anxiety Xanax pill outside to a woman, later identified as his mother Erica, who drove up to the home. Returning to West Meadow Hill, police seized other drugs. It was then police had an encounter with Max Benner. A police report said officers found him sweating and not very responsive in a bedroom. Trinity EMS ambulance was called, but the older brother refused treatment. In the aftermath of the bust, police obtained a warrant to search the home. Although not detailed at the time, Max Benner's arrest 2 weeks later brought an admission of selling Xanax to a victim who was later murdered. Finn's name was not specifically mentioned. Besides Max Benner, 3 other Delaware men have been charged with Finn's June 2017 murder. Nicholas Mondato, Thomas Warner, and Kenneth Pitts were indicted by an Essex County grand jury for Finn's murder in October. Mondato and Warner were additionally charged with armed assault with intent to rob Finn. There's much more on this exclusive WHAV news story at WHAV.net. A Methuen man who police say embezzled more than $180,000 from a Haverhill Heavenly Donut shop has been ordered to spend 6 months in jail for the crime. Nicholas Sidey pleaded guilty in Haverhill District Court Friday and was sentenced to 2 years in the House of Corrections, according to Essex County District Attorney Jonathan Blodgett's spokesperson, Carrie Kimball. Seide will spend 6 months of that time behind bars, with the balance suspended for 3 years. Seide was ordered to remain drug and alcohol free and submit to random testing after his release. He must also pay $10,000 in restitution. As WHAV previously reported, Seide was arrested by Haverhill police in June after shorting the donut shop on Plastow Road, amounts ranging from $995 to $16,975 a month from January 2017 through June 2018. In a court affidavit, arresting officer Christopher Pagliuca said the shop's owner was alerted to the theft when payroll checks started bouncing. Nicholas told him he was taking the money and that he had a drug problem, and told him he was addicted to OxyContin, the report stated. On a court order from Judge Patricia Dowling, Seide was sent to a 28-day detox program over the summer. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Rebecca Foster. UK Prime Minister Theresa May has unveiled her Plan B Brexit strategy, largely similar to the deal she previously agreed with Brussels. Researchers have discovered a secret ballistic missile base in North Korea, one of as many as 20 operating in the rogue nation. And the International Monetary Fund has warned that trade tensions could impact the global economy.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Wind chill advisory in effect until 8 a.m. Skies becoming mainly cleared tonight. Very cold, low of 5 below zero. Wind chill values as cold as -20. Wind gusts over 30 miles per hour at times. Full sunny skies for Tuesday, high 25 degrees. Wind chills around -15 with the 15-mile-an-hour breeze. Tuesday night will be pretty clear early, then increasing clouds, low 15. Warming up nicely, the low to mid-40s on Wednesday. Few showers late day. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
The Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom turns out local programs every day and night. Tune in for local news, Community Spotlight, and the Open Mic Show. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net. 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV, Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Yes, please do that. Make your voice heard. Call 374-1900 and talk to us on the Open Mic Show. But first, we have a phone call waiting. Bill, you go ahead. You do the introduction. He's your buddy.
No, he's not.
Well, you know him.
Just kidding. We have on the line Richard Johnson. Richard, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, trying to stay warm, but also basking in the afterglow of yet another masterpiece by our boys.
I know it, huh?
Now, a question came up in the first hour, and I don't know if you would know this or not. I said that he couldn't have been a Boston Patriots fan, but my cohort to my left said he's a possibility. Martin Luther King Jr., do you think he was a Patriots fan?
He went to Boston University.
You know, it could well have been, because one of the hallmarks of the early history of the team was they had a black executive working in the front office in Rami Loud, and Rami was a real pioneer in the executive, branch of sports. So there's a possibility there.
Told you, Bill.
That's not indefinite, though.
Well, it's not indefinite, but there's a strong possibility. He probably knew Martin, and so Martin would, of course, have an interest in a little affection for the Patriots.
Yeah, but
hey, look,
when he went to college at Boston University, I'm going to take a guess, Richard, that the Boston Patriots weren't in existence at that time.
No. The Patriots were not in existence. I forget which year he finished his graduate studies there, but
when
I
he
don't think
did,
football was real high on his list.
But he might have known this guy you're talking about. We'll just leave it at that. Let's move on to some more substantive stuff, Bill.
Before we get to that, Richard, I just want to ask this. There's a lot of people that have been on Facebook. Stephen and Valerie and David and Pamela and Tammy, all those folks. You're invited to call in anytime if you're afraid to talk. I can understand you going on Facebook, but we do appreciate the comments that were on Facebook. So, Richard, we're back to the New England Patriots. Did you think they had a chance yesterday?
Oh, absolutely, because they shifted into another gear come playoff time. And the fact is that after the Charger game, Brady made it very clear that, in his opinion, he felt as though he and the team were a bit disrespected and underestimated by the local press, and that would be part of the motivation for them. I mean, I think it certainly is a good device. Look, anything you can use to get fired up is good.
Yeah, I think it helped.
Certainly,
and thus, after the game,
yeah.
Brady and Hogan were saying to each other, "We're too old. We can't do this. We can't get it done. We're too old." I saw that comment that was made. Apparently, afterwards, they were having fun with each other. Now, when they beat the Chiefs, the only time the Chiefs had been beaten at home this year was by the Rams.
Yeah.
And the Rams are going to the Super Bowl, as are the New England Patriots.
I think the Patriots have a great chance to win.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I tell you.
If they can keep that motivation that they had, as we just mentioned.
Richard, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, what major players or coaches do you see leaving?
Oh, God, I haven't even given that any thought. The ones I hope stay are Skarnecchia, who basically is the old pro down in the engine room keeping the ship going. I mean,
how old is he?
The line play of this team has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. You go on YouTube, there's a film that was shot with all the expletives in it of the guys coming in the locker room after the game last night, and the praise being given the linemen by everybody is profuse. They played their you-know-what's off. And so, again, going to coaches, Skarnecchia, who's been there forever, he's been there a long time through many head coaches, just gets the job done. And his guys play beautifully.
Didn't he retire? They brought him back.
Retired, they brought him back, and thank God they did. He
Yeah.
done a hell of a job.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that he was thanking one player for basically taking care of Brady's blind side all night long, because the Chiefs were known for how many sacks that they've had over the course of the year, and I don't think they laid a glove on Brady last night, did they?
A few times.
Well,
but
they sort of laid a glove on him with that roughing the passer penalty, which, of course, was one of the gifts, one of the few gifts.
It cleaned off the front of his mask.
Well, it feels good to be a Patriots fan. I don't know how I'd feel if I were a Saints fan.
That was sad.
You know what? I only saw the highlight of that. I didn't see it in the game, but they were robbed.
They were. They should be playing. They should be playing the Patriots. That's the way it looked to me.
Should.
Now the Patriots had luck against the Rams before in the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't call it luck, but they had a win.
Well, yeah, they
were real underdogs in that game, and of course, thank God they had Adam Vinatieri at his finest. It's interesting that the only two players from that game still going are he and Brady, and they're still getting the job done.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now the quarterback that was for the St. Louis Rams, where they were at the time, was
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner, and Kurt was actually out of the game for a while, and I think he was boxing, putting shelves or something, or selling shoes or something. Then they came back.
Well, he was actually shelving groceries before, and he was a teammate of Adam Vinatieri's for the Amsterdam Admirals in NFL Europe, back when they had the European team.
Wow.
So there was a connection between those two. They basically came out of nowhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to take a short break, Bill and Richard, but we'll be right back.
Yep.
You can just hang in. We'll be right back, and we'll talk to you a little bit more about the Patriots right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495.
97.9 FM, WHAV.
That we deliberate and achieve with wisdom and understanding, recognizing the rights of all of our citizens with full regard for the dignity and justice of the individual.
Each week, WHAV News brings you live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the Haverhill City Council. Listen to 97.9 WHAV FM each Tuesday night at 7 when the City Council is in session from the Theodore A. Pelosi Jr. City Council Chambers in City Hall. Presented as a public service from 97.9 WHAV FM.
Community Spotlight.
Elder Services of the Merrimack Valley is in need of drivers to distribute Meals on Wheels to homebound elders in the Haverhill area. Distribution takes place weekdays, and more information is available by calling Virginia 978-651-3020. Submit your own nonprofit events and announcements at least 3 weeks in advance. For best results, use the online form under the Contact tab at WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back on the Open Mic Show, and let's get back to Richard and more Patriot talk.
Now we have Richard Johnson. We have Richard Johnson on the line. Richard is the curator for the Sports Museum in Boston, and very, very nice guy. I had lunch with him a few weeks back with another notable in the sports industry, Bob Temple. And Bob has written a book on harness racing, thoroughbred racing, and greyhound racing. And did you know, Richard, I'm probably one of the only announcers, or very few announcers, that have called all three. I've called dog racing at Hinsdale. I've called the greyhound race in Hinsdale, the harness racing at many locations, and thoroughbred racing at Northampton and Great Barrington.
Wow.
And Swifty always wins, right?
He never loses. There was Swifty, and there was Rusty, and the Chief.
There you go.
Yeah, there's three of the dog rabbits in here. But Richard,
don't the dogs sometimes it breaks or they get a hold?
Oh, they catch the rabbit.
Catch the rabbit, right?
And it's not a pretty scene.
Right.
I've seen it where the dog is fallen down, gotten up, sees the rabbit coming in the other direction, and he hits it head on.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's not good. So, Richard, you had a book that came out in November, of which I have a copy of it, and it's great reading. And could you tell us a little bit about that book?
Yeah, it's called The Pats, An Illustrated History of the New England Patriots, and my friend Glenn Stout and I wrote this book, and it covers the team up through last year's Super Bowl. So there's another chapter being written now as we speak, of course, and we basically take the team from the inspiration of the start of the AFL, which was the famous 1958 NFL championship game between the Giants and the Colts. That really got the talk of the AFL going because the NFL really didn't want to expand.
Right.
And there are any number of millionaires out there going, hey, I want a piece of this. And so hence the AFL started. And, of course, the Patriots were the caboose on that train. They were the last team to join the league. In fact, they probably shouldn't have even existed. And what had happened was there was going to be a team in St. Paul for the AFL. Then the NFL finally did decide to expand, and they and they expanded to Minnesota. So then a franchise became open. There was an open slot. They decided to fill it with Boston, even though we'd had a rather checkered pro football history prior to this.
Yeah.
5 teams had started and failed in Boston. 5 pro teams had started and failed prior to the Patriots, but they decided to take a chance on it. Billy Sullivan got word of this, sort of got the inside track on it, and for an initiation fee of only $25,000, which of course wouldn't buy you a luxury suite at Gillette Stadium for an exhibition game these days.
No kidding.
For $25,000, he got the right to start the team.
That's something.
And the rest is history, as they
Did
say.
you know?
You know what? It's a rather interesting history.
It is.
We should always give credit to the Sullivans because the Patriots wouldn't exist if it hadn't been for them. Now, I'm certain there would have been another NFL team here, but how long that would have taken and what form it would have been and what the name would have been, God only knows. But the fact is that really with smoke and mirrors, he pulled it off. And the team, in rather short time had some success. I mean, after all, they played in the 1963 AFL championship game against the Chargers. But they, they were able to make it down to Foxborough. And, 3 owners afterwards, we get the Crafts, who bought the team 25 years ago today. This is the 25th anniversary of their buying the team from James Orthwine.
Yeah.
I think they should have kept the name the Boston Yanks.
Yeah, well, the Yanks got sold, so that basically they took everything, kit caboodle and the name, and they became the New York Football Yankees, actually.
Yeah.
And then eventually, through rather, bizarre, ownership changes and things, became the Baltimore Colts. So
And then went to Indianapolis.
The schedule during the year where they play both the Redskins and the Colts, they're playing teams that were previously in Boston.
Huh.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Now, we had mentioned earlier the first hour. What was the story with Bill Belichick and his one day in the New York Jets organization?
You know what? I can tell you from the perspective as a fan, I don't think, and I think most of us out there that heard this cannot recall a more bizarre press conference in our lives. I was sitting in the parking lot of McDonald's eating my lunch, listening to the radio, where a guy comes on and basically says the press conference is about to start, and then you hear someone saying, "I'm resigning as HC of the NYJ." I think he said about 10 words after that.
That's Bill.
Like, what the heck is
Yeah.
What the heck is going on here? Holy Toledo. And then, of course, we ended up giving up a draft choice for him. Probably the best trade in club history would be the draft choice for our head coach.
Yeah. Who was the draft choice that they got?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look in the record book or something. I'm not that much of a trivia guy, but I do know it was the best transaction in club history.
Now, why did he go to the Patriots after agreeing to go to the Jets?
Well, because basically you're going into a situation here where you had an number 1 quarterback in Bledsoe. The team had already gotten to the point where it was really in the midst of a redo after the Parcells success, and he was going to be head guy here, not just the head coach, but also supervising the entire operation. It's what he'd wanted to do his entire career, is to sort of be the Paul Brown of a team, and so he got to be Paul Brown here, and he may have even surpassed, I think he probably has surpassed Paul Brown in terms of being a dominating figure as a head coach and overseeing an operation that has just had an unprecedented run of excellence. I mean, it's really, after the game last night, you just sort of cup your hand to your forehead and go, I mean, you really believe that we're seeing this again? It's continuing? It's remarkable because it's a 17-year stretch of, wow.
Yeah, well, he turned this team, which everybody thought didn't have the right pieces, into a winner.
Well,
and as you said, it was
it's
Dante,
interesting.
And other people on the, the other coaches on the team, but still, he leads the charge.
Yeah, we didn't hear much. We really haven't heard much talk in the past 24 hours of Garoppolo or Amendola or Butler or any of the other stuff. I mean, you have to trust in Bill as a fan, and I am a fan, as well as a historian. I certainly trust in him, and his friend Ernie Adams, who's the sort of the eye in the sky, the brain in the press box, who helps him tremendously. These guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
They must be friends because I could read lips, and he used some curse words last night on that microphone.
Ernie, and he actually went to Andover Academy, not far from your studio.
Right. Bill did,
where they won the 1970 prep championship. Bill was a postgraduate student from Annapolis, and one of the first guys he meets is Ernie Adams, who saw his name on the team sheet and said, "Are you related to Steve Belichick, the author of Football Scouting Methods?"
Yeah.
And they hit it off right there,
there.
and they've been friends ever since. And, here we go. I mean, it always helps to be smarter than the other guys, and these guys have proven time and again that, yeah, they're smarter than the other guys, and that helps a great deal.
Well, Belichick was very upset that they got beaten on the same play twice. In fact, I hope that wasn't your iPad he was using.
Yeah, I think it was a Microsoft pad, but
yeah.
I think that's their sponsorship. But boy, that he tossed that pad. He was a little upset.
Well, I mean, the same play twice. And did you know who was very prophetic last night? It was Tony Romo.
Boy, was he ever!
Yeah.
And I actually think he's a really good announcer. I think he's lively, he's knowledgeable. I mean, certainly he's played the game before, so that helps a great deal. And you don't get the sense that his ego's in there. He's just basically sharing with you, so it's as though you're sitting at the game with a really knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, he shares a lot of information you don't hear from any other color man.
Yeah, see, he's very good.
Yeah, he is.
He basically was calling the shots before they happened, and he was
does
right.
that. Yeah, he's done that all season, right from the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess the Rams have decided that they're going to have a monitor him during the game at the Super Bowl.
They're going to monitor Tony to find out what's coming up.
$1 short.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So before we let you go, we need to ask you one question. Remember, we're going to also ask him if he had any idea on the question of who is Belichick going to bench for the Super Bowl?
Oh, God.
Just a joke.
I mean,
just a joke.
Yeah, I think that's all in the past. I really do. No, I think this group basically they have the requisite chip on their shoulder. Okay.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm sure the team had that last year too, but not quite to the same extent as these guys do. So, and also they have the boost in confidence of winning a conference title on the road. They hadn't done that in 14 years.
Yeah.
So
here
we go. I think that's a big asset.
Yeah, we just don't want them to get overconfident.
Now,
and they're going up against another young quarterback too.
True.
And Andy Reid would have, if he'd won yesterday and had a chance to win a Super Bowl, it would probably make amends because he wasn't the coach of the Eagles when they won last year.
Right. Yeah. Well, I can't look at him and not think of Wilford Brimley selling me oatmeal.
Yes.
Do you
like Wilford Brimley?
Now, I'm going to ask you to think into your archives of your brain. Do you remember a young Andy Reid was on the punt, pass, and kick contest on Monday Night Football at age 12? Do you remember seeing that episode? That show?
I don't. Now, are you pulling my?
No. This is the honest to God.
Is that true?
This is true, and I want you to go on YouTube, Richard, and pull it up. He's as big then as he is today.
Did he have the mustache?
He had a mustache as a
At
12-year-old.
age 12.
They didn't show him. I'm telling you, he was 6 foot tall, and all these kids were half his size.
Really?
You pull it up on YouTube. You want to stay another quarter hour, Richard?
I'm very happy to. It's
Okay,
a cold evening,
sure.
and it's good to have the hot stove all fired up here.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. We'll do another quarter hour right here on the Open Mic Show with Richard and Talking Patriots. If you want to call in, you can do that too, 978-374-1900. This is 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495.
It's 7:31.
Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system, this is 97.9 WHAV.
Rock, roll, rock, roll.
Hey, it's Dave Mack, and this Saturday on the Rock and Roll Oldies Party, we're spotlighting Dr. Hook, known for Sylvia's Mother, the cover of the Rolling Stone, Only 16, Sexy Eyes, When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman, Sharing the Night Together, and more. The top 5 at 5 comes from 1963, and we find Steve Lawrence is at number 1. Join me this Saturday beginning at 3 for the Rock and Roll Oldies Party here on the Wave, 97.9 WHAV.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Wind chill advisory in effect until 8 a.m. Skies becoming mainly cleared tonight. Very cold, low of 5 below zero. Wind chill values as cold as -20. Wind gusts over 30 miles per hour at times. Full sunny skies for Tuesday, high 25 degrees. Wind chills around -15 with the 15-mile-an-hour breeze. Tuesday night will be pretty clear early, then increasing clouds, low 15. Warming up nicely, the low to mid-40s on Wednesday. Few showers late day. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back. We're talking Patriots right here on the Open Mic Show. If you want to join us, have any questions, 978-374-1900.
So he was 13 years old, Andy Reid was, in the punt, pass, and kick competition, 1973. And I just showed it on YouTube to Bill.
Yeah.
And how big is he compared to the other kids?
He's like twice the size. The kids behind him to take their turn.
He's huge.
Are like a little over waist high.
I know. Unbelievable. And he was wearing a Rams uniform.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to take a look at that, Richard. I think you get a big kick out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's big. He's huge.
Oh, man.
In there and so forth. But
did he play pro ball? He must have.
I don't know.
Did he just go right into coaching?
Boy, I would have to look that up. That's not something that jumps to mind.
Yeah. How about Bill's kids? What do you think? He's got one on the sideline now, right?
He does, and who knows? This may be another future head coach. It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Right. Maybe Bill will stick around until he hands it off to his son.
Well, the similarities are there. He was a lacrosse star too, just like his father.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're going to need a new defensive coordinator, I guess.
It appears to be that way, but they seem to, they're.
Well, he didn't even have that title, did he? He was.
With developing players, they develop coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, do you the Rams? Where are they playing now? They playing at the old Coliseum?
They're playing at the old Coliseum.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now who's
they're building this new intergalactic? They're going to try to outdo Jerry Jones with a stadium in L.A. Of course, what's interesting is L.A. went from having no NFL team to now having two. One, of course, the Rams that should have stayed there all along,
right?
And then the Chargers that, they jilted, San Diego. course, they had started in L.A. way back in the day, so of course they're sort of returning home too. But it is a rather odd situation where you have the second biggest city in the country not having a team for decades, and then all of a sudden they have two.
Right. Who's going to Vegas? Which team's going to Vegas?
The Raiders.
The Raiders are going to Vegas. Yeah.
Now that should make
and the fans there, I mean, you talk about a devoted group. The Oakland supporters are the most devoted fans, maybe not the most, but among the most. You know, Green Bay probably are, the most devoted because of their history. And those guys have been treated terribly for years. I mean, moving to L.A. and then coming back, and then so they're like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football.
Maybe they'll be like Oakland, though. Maybe they'll be like Baltimore, and they'll fight for another franchise.
Well, you know what? Possibly. It's interesting, though. The A's are going to build a new stadium, but a baseball-only stadium. So, if another team were to relocate to Oakland, they'd have to build
a fresh new stadium.
What they should do, or what the NFL should do, is they should say, if another franchise moves to Oakland, they should get the name of Raiders, and the Vegas team would, have another name.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, that's the least they could do for the fans there, but that probably won't happen, though.
But that's why we have the Ravens in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, but of course they should be the Colts.
They should be the Colts. I know it does get confusing.
They still have the marching band for the Colts.
Yeah.
After all these years, and I mean the Ravens aren't a bad name, but Indianapolis Colts, it's not as bad as the Utah Jazz.
True.
There's no Jazz in Utah.
Good point.
That's true. That's so
and there are
true.
No Grizzlies in Memphis either. At least there haven't been since they were shot by Davy Crockett or Daniel Boone.
Yeah, no, that's going way back.
Too.
Yeah, it's the.
I mean, it's all a little strange, isn't it?
It is.
It is. Now the sad thing happened though with the Raiders, the Darryl Stingley story.
Yeah.
His career he was paralyzed.
Well, it occurred in an exhibition game of all things in 1978. I mean, and one of the great tragedies in sports history and in New England history, and it just is one of those things where it's one of those stories where unless you stayed up to listen to the game, you heard about it on the news the next day and you were incredulous. It was like, no, this couldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ted Green. He was injured in an exhibition game.
Exhibition game, and then I remember when Norman Leveille had the brain aneurysm. It was a game against the Canucks, and you had to stay up to watch that game. So a lot of us heard about that tragedy the next day too.
Now, Richard, let me ask you about Brady and Gronkowski. If they win the Super Bowl, are they going to be like Peyton Manning and get off after the big win? You think there's a chance of that for either one of them?
Well, I think there's a chance that Gronk may retire. I mean, that sort of has been, hinted at during the year. And he takes a lot of punishment, and you could sort of see in his play yesterday that he's really on a mission. I'm convinced that he's sort of showing us all, the credentials he has for going to Canton, Ohio, going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that, he's doing this in pain. I'm certain of that, too. And he will absolutely, I think, in the Super Bowl, be the guy that makes the difference. I just get this feeling in my own personal crystal ball. I'm looking at it and sort of through the clouds in that crystal ball, I see him making a one-handed grab in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
Possibly in overtime. This may be another overtime game to win the Super Bowl for us. He is such a wonderful guy. It's interesting that my wife's cousin coached him in youth baseball in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And Gronk is a great guy. He calls his former coach about maybe once every other year, ask if he wants to go to a game, sees him afterwards. They usually go out to dinner. He has not forgotten where he's come from or who his friends are or who his coaches and teammates were, even back in the day. He's really a solid guy, and he wants to go out on top.
Go out on top, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
And he has some other opportunities, but I'll tell you, I love him. I know everybody loves him that I know, and he will be sorely missed. And you can't really replace that guy, I don't think, right away.
No, and he's made a comment that the average NFL player's career is about 3.5 years. And he had two brothers that were involved in the sport also. And I think he knows that I think this is probably going to be the time. He wants to go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
And he's done tremendous things. I mean, we've had some great
It's too bad he's
receivers.
so brittle, though. I mean, he breaks like brittle, you know.
You would be surprised because he's as big as an ox.
I know. But that's been part of the problem, and I think he's playing in pain, as you said, Richard.
And the thing
I question, and the fact is, he is the complete player. He blocks. He's a great offensive decoy, and he works that perfectly. And then, in terms of his receiving ability, it's almost an optical illusion to see a guy that big be so graceful.
Yeah, and some of the passes he caught even yesterday were like almost not catchable.
He's graceful, especially when the ball is thrown down by his shoelaces. And he seems to manage to get down there and scoop that thing up with those. And he looks like his hands look like he's wearing oven mitts. I mean, they're huge.
Well, you know what it looks like? It looks like an infielder scooping up a throw, scooping, with his foot in the base and scooping up a throw. And he was a hell of a baseball player, too. So when they drafted him, they got a complete athlete and a total football player. And I'm sure in the discussions about who the greatest tight ends of all time were, it'd be he, John Mackey, would be the two who I would have as the top two. And he may well be the best ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about Brady? Does he have another year signed already that he's supposed to fulfill?
I don't think he has another year signed. I think he's having so much fun. You looked at him yesterday after the game, and he was like a little 12-year-old kid in a Little League game.
That's true.
And he looks younger. I mean, okay, it's one of these things where we all know about the TB12 thing, which I think a lot of folks have bought the book. I think about 3% of the people that buy the book actually go out to the grocery store and buy the stuff that he's eating every day.
Yeah.
The kale and the the beet juice and everything else. But it works for him, and he looks younger now. He even looks younger now than he did 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He does.
And
really
he certainly
look
is
young.
playing as good as he did 5 years ago or better.
He doesn't look like a 41-year-old player out there.
He's a demon competitor. He's not just a competitor. He's a demon competitor, and he's a different breed of cat. I mean, his competitiveness is just absolutely to the extreme. It gets everybody in the room, everyone in that locker room, feels they are answering not only to the head coach, but to Tom Brady, because they know how hard he works, how much it means to him, and he pulls them along in his wake. The other athlete who we saw do that to a team, and it was very obvious right from the start, was Kevin Garnett. The guy comes in and he's so competitive that, you're either on or you're either in or you're out, and boy, everyone wants to be in on that scene, and so it's the same dynamic.
And Brady was like changing the play a lot, on the field, and they said the other team couldn't do that. That the quarterback didn't have the ability. He was too green.
Yeah, and Brady was seeing where they were setting up,
right?
And where the weakness was.
Knows the game.
Now, Richard, when I had lunch with you a few weeks back, and the book had got some pretty good reviews. And where were you on the New York Times list?
Well, we were on the New York Times Sports and Fitness bestseller list at number 9, which was pretty good. It isn't the overall one, believe me. If it were on the overall one, I'd be speaking to you from Florida now. But still, being on the sports list is pretty damn good, and we're very happy with that.
All right, let's talk. What's the title of the book, Richard? Let's give a little
It's
more
called
information.
The Pats, an illustrated history of the New England Patriots by Glenn Stout and yours truly.
And how many pages is there? It looked like a yellow pages.
It's about 365 pages, or it's almost a page for every day of the year, and about 200 illustrations, most of them in color, including the great Phil Bissell program covers from the 1960s, which are among my favorite sports art of all time. They are just so great.
Now, have you spoken to the fellow that assisted with you on the book? Because it's got to be pretty cold where he is right now.
Yeah, in fact, I got an email from Glenn today saying it was 4 degrees when he got up this morning to put wood in the stove.
Wow. God bless him. He lives right on the Canadian border.
And what's the best way for
Vermont, right on the Canadian border?
What's the best way for somebody to get a copy?
Well, the best way, I always urge people to go to independent stores because I like the indie stores, but certainly you go on to Amazon. It's at most of the Barnes and Nobles that I've been to. In fact, my co-author and I stopped at a lot of them when we autographed the books, So really, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and your independent stores.
Great. Hey, we thank you very much
Richard,
for
thank you very
all
much.
your time.
Thank you so much.
And maybe we could talk to you again.
Start the car afterwards.
Maybe we could talk to you again in a couple of weeks after the Patriots win the Super Bowl.
I got my fingers set. I'm not going to jinx them at all, but
All
I'd
right.
love to speak with you then.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Thanks
Richard.
a lot, Richard.
Cheers.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
All right. This is the Open Mic Show on WHAV. Bill Macek and Bill Ellis, and we're taking it right up till 8 o'clock, so don't go away. And if you'd like to join us, 978-374-1900 is the number. We're on 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the Open Mic Show will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495.
97.9 WHAV is the only FM station assigned to the city of Haverhill. Your membership is critical to continued operation. It's easy to join. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
Catch the wave.
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning, right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. Eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents The Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Open Mic is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Where are you? Come on, Chris, turn us up. All right. Okay. It's good to work through the glass,
You like that?
Good thing we don't have what if we had a wall there?
Yeah, but a lot of times in your your life, you've dealt with people on the other side of the glass when they used to come visit you at the Cedar Junction.
Oh, yeah. No. But I remember one station I worked at. The newsroom was like on the other side of the building.
Really?
And it was different from not having, the glass to look through and kind of communicate and hold up a sign like Chris does for us. Like we have a call. So why don't we go to that call right now?
Sounds good to me.
Hello, caller.
Hello, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, on the Brady thing, right?
Yeah.
I think if you took like the rules that Steve Brogan had and Bob Breesy, he wouldn't be making it to 41.
Oh, well, I know. They protected the quarterback a lot more.
That's true. I mean, I think some of the rules were written because of Brady.
Yeah, I think you're going to see more people get older. I don't want to say elder.
Yeah, it's a good point. You think the game was tougher back then, is what you're saying, and had fewer calls, fewer flags.
You take a look at a guy like Bronco Nagurski and tell me if the game was tougher.
Yeah, right. That's right. There were fewer flags and maybe a little different kind of football. You're right. You're right. And I don't think they had the equipment either to protect them.
Okay, hey, another thing I'd like to bring up.
Go ahead.
I heard the other night you guys were talking about the sign that said Haverhill Small
I brought it up.
City. Yes. That sign was on Broadway in Ayers Village. It was black and white.
Do you remember that?
All right?
Because I remember it when I was a kid.
And the one you were talking about was Haverhill, the City of Opportunity, on the brown fence with yellow.
You're right. Yep. So, well, thank you for clarifying that. But we did have one, Haverhill, a city as friendly as a small town.
Right. That was on Broadway between Crystal and Liberty Street.
Okay.
As you're coming down into the city.
Yep. Okay.
Well, Carl, get back to the Patriots. Did you see the thing that came out of Skowhegan, Maine? There was a pastor of a church had the sign in front of the church.
Yeah, the changeable letters?
No. What it said was, God may not have a favorite team, but the pastor of this church does. Patriots 37, Chiefs 31. He called it.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's the changeable letters, though. He didn't really make that sign, did he? He painted that?
No, he put that in there. I mean, of course they change it.
Yeah.
But this is what he predicted.
All right, hey, thanks for calling in. I appreciate the information. Call at any time. We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. 978-374-1900. Lines are open if you want to join us at 7:52. We have 8 minutes left, Bill, and we've...
Well, I want to thank everybody that posted stuff on Facebook tonight.
Yeah, we actually were told by the boss to check it out.
Checked it out because the computer wasn't on here.
We'll have to start integrating that into the show on a regular basis.
We do get a lot of comments. This is the second time I've done it, and we have gotten a lot.
Yeah, we thank everybody who listens on Facebook, watches on Facebook, comments on Facebook, good or
Always
bad.
Nice.
Yeah,
It is nice.
Say what's on your mind, and we'll try to get to it. The comments, some of them were very long and
very long, but
detailed.
very they were detailed. And it's great to have two sides,
right?
Making comments and so forth. And
right.
And then one of the comments said that Lord Belichick got a pass on throwing the iPad down on the ground.
Yes.
So I could see some kid now throwing his iPad down and the father scolding him and say, well, Bill Belichick does that. And then he'll probably turn around and say, well, when you start making the money Bill Belichick makes, you can throw your iPad down on the ground.
But you don't know that it broke. You don't know. I mean,
I don't think it did break because he did pick it up.
Oh, so did he use it?
I think he did.
He may, yes. Yeah. So, that tells you something.
It does.
It's
Microsoft. Pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
So, Billy, do you realize, I think it's either today or next week, we've been on a year. Chris, how long have we been here?
We're getting close, yeah.
It was January.
It was sometime in January, so by the end of next week.
A whole year.
A whole year.
You haven't changed one bit. You still look the same.
Yeah.
Last year, I've known you how many years now? You haven't changed one bit. You were old looking then. You're old looking now.
Thank you, William. Yeah.
No, I tell you, it's been great about a year, and I want to thank Tim Coco for giving us this opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a lot of fun. We've discussed a lot of things, pro and con, and
a lot of good stuff.
And a lot. What was really exciting this past year, Will, was all the Democratic candidates that we had for the 3rd district.
For the 3rd congressional district, right?
Yeah.
And we got to get Lori Trahan in. When she's home, she's down in Washington a lot now. But but we should try to get her in, even if we get a call in from Lori, who's our new congresswoman.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And
she had the one distinction. I think she was the tallest.
She
candidate.
is definitely tall. You see her pictures.
She was tall. She sat right in the studio.
Yeah.
And she is tall, and she was a volleyball in college. She was, I think she might have made the college Hall of Fame.
Perfectly built for that sport.
Oh, I'm telling you, she's tall and athletic.
Yeah.
God bless her, and I'm sure she'll do a great job.
Nice person, and I know she'll do a great job. She just got appointed to the Armed Services, which kind of follows up in Nikki Songas's taking care of veterans. I think Nikki was on that committee. So
okay.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
She'll do well.
Yeah.
So we get some better weather coming, Will.
We do. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday. Even if we get the rain, I think on Thursday.
Yeah, if it's 50s and rain, a lot of the stuff's going to go away.
Yeah,
it's going to make it nasty though. It's going to be a lot of
it'll
pools.
take away some of it, but I don't think it's all going away.
No, probably won't.
No,
we need a consistent.
Yeah,
but that will come. I mean, here we are, the end of January. We got, I don't know, another 6 weeks.
Well, we need the January thaw now, right? So maybe this is it.
We probably had the January thaw already.
I think we had the delay, the January delay. This is the first snowstorm.
We've been blessed.
We have been blessed. I don't, well, you know what? You can't say that if you operated a plow truck, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, somebody, it's an advantage to. Some people need snow for their profession.
That's true.
So
like a skier.
The ski slope. The skier doesn't. It's going to cost the skier.
Well, but if he's a professional skier like Jean-Claude
Killet. They just
or,
like skiing.
Yeah.
They like to play on the slopes. So, skiers. I used to be a skier. Snowmobilers. That's fun. You ever do that?
I did that years ago.
Yeah, snowmobile. That's there are more people that snowmobile than ski. I got that from John Williams, who was my ski reporter for many decades.
John Williams
great guy.
from the conductor?
No, John Williams from Maine.
Oh.
But he has a great ski service. But he also does special reports on snowmobiling and also on snowboarding. So
John Williams? Does he do a radio show?
No, he offers these. I should talk to Tim about putting him on WHAV because he offers these segments, the ski report, the snowboard report.
I think I heard him. Is it sponsored by the Oxford Speedway?
Could be.
Yeah, I think I've heard him.
Yeah, because he's up in Maine.
Right.
Nice guy. Anyway, what else?
So you snowmobiled?
I have many times, yeah.
I did. You know what? It's funny. I went snowmobiling years ago in Vermont, and
me too.
But, whereabouts? Well, you probably in the northern part.
Northeast Kingdom.
Yeah, that's
they got the vast trails.
Yeah, I was down. We were by Calvin Coolidge's house.
Yeah,
and
I've been
by
there.
Plymouth, Vermont, I believe it is.
I've been there.
And the instructor had to come back, or the guy leading the tour or whatever. He came back to me. He goes, "You can't keep lollygagging behind." He goes, "Because I know what you're doing." Because I'd lollygag and then I'd open it up, catch up, and so
race.
Yeah. So, anyways, he said, "You want to open it up?" He says, "I'll take you over to the lake." So we went over to the lake, and he was zooming right along. There's nothing worse, though, when they get that washboard effect.
Yeah.
Man, Jesus, your body jumps all over the place.
He wasn't taking you over there because he thought he knew where some soft spots were.
He said, it just looks like water, but it's not. He said, just soaping it up full throttle.
That's it.
But you know what's funny?
And if you had a snowplow, wouldn't you want to have snow once in a while? So
I want snow all the time.
Plow a driveway, plow the streets, whatever your job is.
You make a ton of money
plow
with that.
The parking lots.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Now, a friend of mine who's involved in the standardbred harness racing business posted some photos and videos of he and his wife on a sleigh ride yesterday in Farmington, Maine.
That's nice.
It looked very nice. And the horse that was pulling the sleigh was a horse that I've driven in races at Cornish, Maine.
Well, that's nice.
And he looked a whole lot calmer in those pictures and the videos that he has when I was on the racetrack with him. Maybe because he was by himself and enjoying himself. And he's a gray, so it looked really impressive. It was a nice the New England scene.
Is he retired?
No, he's not.
No, he's still racing?
He still races, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was quite a pretty sight. I guess he bought the sleigh for his wife over Christmas, and it's nice. I'd like to go on a ride like that. Have you ever been on a carriage ride?
I have, yeah.
Where did you go on a carriage ride?
I've gone up in Vermont, and I've also gone in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
That must have been nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I was went on a carriage ride in Old Montreal.
Ah, nice.
That was nice.
Yeah, sounds good.
C'est bon.
Nice to have some
it's
interesting
nice.
things to do. Something out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
right?
Old Montreal it's an old portion of the city.
Yeah.
And it's very nice. And when you ask the Canadians who they're the best hockey player there ever was, they say Gretzky.
I haven't got a passport. I can't go to Montreal anymore.
Really?
Used to be able to go with a license. Now you have to get a passport. I have to get it renewed, but they're non-essential, so they're not working, is what I understand. So you can't get a passport.
Yeah, Montreal's a pretty town.
We got to get that back. You have to stop this lockout.
Yeah, it's another subject.
Another
Will, it's 8
topic.
o'clock.
We're out of time. It is 8 o'clock. It's been fun. This is the Open Mic Show every Monday night, 6 to 8, right here, and only on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic!
Join Bill Macek live on the Open Mic again next Monday night at 6. The Open Mic Show is brought to you in part by Smith Motor Sales of Haverhill, 420 River Street, exit 48 off 495. The opinions expressed on the Open Mic Show are not necessarily those of 97.9 WHAV FM, its underwriters, or affiliated stations. The Open Mic Show came to you from the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom.